Today's lesson is topic 2.4, writing rules for situations. The objective for today is that I will find a rule and extend the table, given a table of number pairs. In your notes, you should have a piece of paper glued in with 3 different tables. The first one we're going to complete together right now. We are using what we call function table machines or input-output tables. On this table, I need to look just like my previous lesson, look at my top number, and figure out what I have to do in order to get the bottom number. There's always a connection or some sort of pattern that I'm looking for. As I look at each of these, whatever rule I come up with must be able to be applied to every single one of them. Well, when Nelson is 4, Pam is 2. When Nelson is 10, Pam is 8. When Nelson is 8, Pam is 6. So I'm noticing that Pam's younger than Nelson, and she is always 2 years younger than Nelson. So I have to subtract 2 from Nelson's age in order to find Pam's age. So if Nelson is 12, then Pam would be 2 years younger, which would give me 10. If Nelson is 6, Pam would be 2 years younger, making her 4. So the rule would have to be subtract 2. I want you to create this in your notes. This is what we call a function table machine. We have information is what we call the input. It's information that's going in. The rule is applied, and then we end up with our answer on the outside. Be sure to draw this in your notes. We're going to continue by completing these 2 tables. When I take a look at the price of an item and then the total cost of item and shipping, I am noticing that the cost is going up with shipping added to it. As I take a look at my first one, I start with the item at $19. The cost of shipping with the item would be $25. So I've noticed that we've gone up by $6. So this time, I have to fill in all of my blanks. Well, I'm going to start by adding the $6 to both of these to get my answers. And 18 plus 6 would give me an answer of $24. So I'm filling in that spot on my chart. As I take a look at the next one, the item is $23. Again, I have to add the $6 and end up with $29. Well, on this one up here, I know the cost is $36 at the end. So this time I have to go backwards, which would mean I need to subtract 6 to mean that this cost of this item here has to be $30. The rule on this one, every time from the first column to the second column, I add $6. Looking at the next table, I have my input on top and my output on the bottom. Well, I'm going from 2 to 6, and then down here at the end, I've noticed that I have a 10 to 30. My first instinct was to add 4 to 2, but when I take a look at that last one, it's from 10 to 30. If I add 4 to 10, that can't be my rule. So I have to try something else. I know that I'm getting bigger, so I'm going to assume that if it's not addition, it's going to have to be multiplication. So 2 times 3 gives me 6. Well, it works over here too, because 10 times 3 gives me 30. Therefore, I have to fill in all my blanks, which would be multiplying by 3. So let's go ahead and do that. 9 times 3 would give me 27. Okay, I'm going to skip my middle one for a second. 8 times 3 would give me 24. In this middle column, again, I have to go backwards. I know that the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'd be doing 15 divided by 3. Which another way to say that would be 3 times what gives me 15. Because I know my facts, I would know that my answer would have to be 5. But the rule, again, always applies to what you have to do to the top number in order to get the bottom number. So on this one, I would have to write multiply by 3. In your notes, I would like for you to complete this table. Be sure to draw the table out in your notes, write a rule, and fill in the blanks for the missing numbers. Always remember that your rule says, what do you have to do to the hours worked in order to figure out the amount earned? Be sure to look for patterns between each one of the ones that you are given.